Hey y'all, and welcome to PolitiBrawl. My name is Brian, and all hell breaks loose in Congress when these ridiculous woke protesters try to interrupt the entire congressional hearing. And what happens next is pure irony.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Nadler, and members of the committee. My name is Connor O'Greejock, and it is an honor to bring my experiences before you today. Although I had hoped...
Not this crap.
The meeting will be in order. Again.
Although I had hoped that my arrival to
higher ed... for Palestinian students!
Again?
Mr. O'Greejock, we'll keep trying.
Thank you, Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Nadler, and members of the committee.
Palestinians deserve to speak on the genocide of
Apparently
their
not.
families!
All right, sit down. You be
Palestinian students deserve to speak on the genocide of their families! Stop silencing Palestinian students! Stop silencing Palestinian students! Stop silencing Palestinian students! They're speaking on their genocide!
Clowns. All of them.
Gentleman is recognized.
It is an honor to bring my experiences...
Palestinian students should not be censored. You want to talk about putting money where your mouth is? There are 10,000, over 10,000 Gazans dead and more buried, half of whom are under the age of 18. And you're going to spend money and talk about this? Where are the anti-Zionist Jews in this room? Nowhere. So you are not offering a plurality of opinion. You are offering partisanship. And you are offering murder to more Gazans. Free Palestine!
My name is Connor O'Greejock, and it is an honor to bring my experiences before you today. Although I had hoped that my arrival to higher education would mark the arrival to a bastion of free speech, many of my firsthand experiences of freedom of speech violations at the University at Buffalo came during my membership of UB's chapter of Young Americans for Freedom. Two of the most prominent examples of freedom of speech bias that I witnessed at the university each came in the form of speaker events hosted by my chapter. In spring of 2022, as vice chair of my chapter, I had the opportunity to assist with hosting Lieutenant Colonel Alan West at UB, an event which was preceded by delays in the signing of our contract and a forced venue change, which was exposed by a Freedom of Information request. However, the most striking action taken against us followed Lieutenant Colonel West's speech, which had included a discussion of race in America and accounts from his decorated past. When the floor was opened to a question and answer session, student protesters shouted from their seats before the audiovisual employees from UB's Student Association, the student government, cut powers to the event's microphones and speakers, ending the session. Confrontations continued upon the exit from the event, and once outside, as you just saw in the video before the opening statements, chapter members were chased by a 100-person mob across campus.
Man, history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. Because this guy, this well-to-do young conservative, is recounting a tale where he tried to start up an organization, a conservative one at that, and it got delayed because of the woke politics of the student governing body, as well as the academics that run his school. Then, once he finally got his event with Colonel Alan West, he was shouted down, and ultimately the event got completely taken over by these mob-like protesters. Well, what did we see in the first half of this video? 4 coordinated protesters getting up, screeching like banshees about an issue that they have absolutely zero understanding of. Hey y'all, as we know, you don't put all your eggs into one basket, right? So that's why I'm partnering over with my friends at Colonial Metals Group, who will help diversify your portfolio. And what they'll do is they'll set up for you a self-directed IRA account. You'll have direct access to your assets, you'll be able to see what all's going on, and it doesn't matter what the stock market does, or what often happens, what the government does, your assets will be protected. So let the team of experts over at Colonial Metals Group help secure your account and your family's future today. There's a link in the description below. Oh, and by the way, if you don't like that, there's a 1-800 number you can call. And most importantly though, is the kicker. They'll throw in a safe and possibly up to $10,000 in US silver to help you get things started. Now, back to regularly scheduled programming. Man, why are leftists like this? Why is their only solution to every problem is to yell at it? All right, that's old man yells at cloud energy right there. It's a clown show, what it is. What you just saw was a complete and total clown show. You had a conservative who was playing by the rules and getting shouted down by these people who weren't playing inside the rules. Why does it always seem that the left refuses to play by the rules of society? Well, it is one of my theories when it comes to the left is most leftists are born out of trauma. Some are born out of a need to crusade. Which, by the way, if you want my opinion on the Crusades, does this answer your question? So, the Israel-Gaza issue, in a nutshell, and this is probably the best way to describe it. Imagine you were living in the area that used to be called Palestine. You're Muslim, and you make delicious falafel. And I'm not a vegetarian by nature. I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, but falafel is delicious. It's vegetarian, doesn't even need meat. It's fantastic. I loved it. But it has a problem. And the people there had a fundamental problem. They couldn't figure out how to keep the best part of the falafel inside of the bread. Why? You eat into it, take 3 bites, and all of a sudden, you start leaking out all the good stuff. All the blue cheese, all the sauce, all the things that make this delicious dish, truly a delicious one, is the stuff that's now all leaking out. Well, imagine if you have no ability to solve this problem. And then in the late 40s, all of a sudden a whole lot of Jewish people come up who have a lot of similar beliefs and even open up another shop right next to yours. And they offer the exact same product. But guess what, y'all? It's state of the art, up to date, and the falafel doesn't leak. What do you do in that situation if you're the other business owner? That the shop next to you just solved a major problem that you kept on having. What do? Do you A, ask him for the recipe, B, congratulate him and see if you can move someplace else, or C, try to sabotage the business? If you chose C, you have chosen the path of terrorism. If you chose A or B, you've chosen the path of someone who actually understands that, you know what, some people just might be better than us. But they chose option C. They chose Hamas in 2006. The people of Gaza did this. Overwhelmingly, they supported a terrorist organization and have continued to prick and poke at the bear that is the modern state of Israel, who has defended its territory correctly. Now, I don't want to get into any more politics on the issue because I have a very nuanced take about Israel. But Hamas kept poking the bear, and finally on October 7th, the floodgates opened. And yet, for some reason, and I'll get to this in a moment, leftists see this as a terrible thing. Because how dare someone who's been poked and prodded over and over and over again finally react? See, leftists think in terms of power dynamics. This is inherently Marxist, which means almost automatically it's going to be wrong. And for some insipid reason, they think that the people who are oppressed are the ones that deserve all the good things. When maybe, just maybe, they're oppressed because they take the worst possible options and the worst possible actions. Maybe, just maybe, The people who democratically chose Hamas have wanted this to happen, and they're now reaping the whirlwind that they have sown. We're supposed to talk about peace on earth, goodwill to men. But you're asking for me to sympathize with people who keep on committing acts of terror. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't condone Israel's actions. I can't do that. I cannot logically do that. But there is a part of me that can't have sympathy for Hamas. My name is Brian. I hope you enjoyed this segment here on PolitiBrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.